Welcome everybody, it is Unstoppable Stilezzi. I got today another Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition casted deathmatch. So we got ourselves a 2 versus 2 here. We got the Angel of Death with Tushki, another Angel of Death British combined with Tushki's French, and they will be facing off against Dawnstow's Dutch, a pretty formidable weapon, as well as Peyo's British. Before we get started, let's look at the map real quick. Keeping in mind this is deathmatch, where everybody starts with 20k starting of each resource. Lots of rushing, lots of building, lots of hammering and shooting and so forth. Lots of action right from the get-go. So for this map, Himalayas, I believe it's Himalayas, right? You got these really neat little cliff sides here that you can use to choke point the map when you're walling. You of course got the trade route in the center, which you can try to grab the trading posts on. You got the powerful Bhakti natives here too, which in Definitive Edition, also includes the War Elephant as well. That was taken from the Sufis in DE and given to the Bhakti. And then you got the Udasi with their chakrams, which are great ranged grenadier type units. So this should be a fun map to see. Let's get started. Alrighty, so here we got the British and the French. So every time you play deathmatch is a pretty golden rule. Build a church. Not because it's Sunday, which I'm recording it on, but because it has the technology mercantilism. And with mercantilism, you can basically get access to 4 to 5 shipments from the start, which is really great. It's really powerful. Yep, Dutch are starting to get it right now, actually, and because this is the start of the match, mercantilism ends up giving you a nice 5 shipments, because the shipping costs are pretty low at that point. Because as you know, for shipments in AoE 3, there's like an experience point cost to each shipment that grows over time, and at the start of the game it's super duper low. But anyways, when you get those 5 cards, you usually go for production cards like riding school, fencing school, maybe even engineering school for artillery, as well as any special techs you need, like religious freedom, which are really important. Because religious freedom, as you know, for Dutch, gives you 2 additional banks with one of the technologies, which you really need as Dutch. These resources don't last forever, man, so you really need to make sure that you're making the most of your starting resources. You're building right away, you're building good units to start with. You saw up there submitted men running across the map. That's usually done as a bit of an aggro tool. Since you're probably not going to use those units in the traditional sense as you would in Supremacy. So yeah, just throwing a free pop unit across the map like that at the start to harass your building villagers, that's pretty good. So we see the Dutch riders hanging out over here. It looks like right now Teal has moved out on their own with their British Dragoons and their longbowmen. These longbowmen, man, these things are pretty infamous. You gotta be careful with these things, They can actually act as like little mini mortars using their siege archery card, which I know Angel of Death puts in his decks. Oh no, now we see the War Elephants from the Bhakti. These things are powerful. They completely shred longbowmen. They completely shred archers up 100%. Look at the splash attack they get. They get a strong splash attack. They also get multipliers against skirmishers as well. So if you're going to do a lot of longbowmen and siege archery, one way to deal with that would be to just throw War Elephants at the prawn. And it would get rid of it really quickly. Right now we see the longbowmen being used in mass here as a defensive posture. Do we have enough hussars to deal with that, or no? Well, it does look like Green was able to force a bit of entry here by killing that settler and stopping the construction of this wall. And now they're going to have to try to push their way in over here against these defensive towers and the longbowmen. The problem is you have such few hand cavalry that the longbowmen can all focus on one cab at a time, basically killing it instantly, regardless of the armor, regardless of the malice. Having such little hand cab does make you vulnerable to mass skirmisher units like these. Especially since the longbowmen get a pretty quick rate of fire as well, so they shoot pretty quickly. At the same time, we got the French moving in over here against the Dutch. French are sticking to more Voltigwires and Dragoons. They also got Culverins, Horse Arty, Mortars, really all the cans you can think of besides Valks and heavy cans, trying to blast their way through these skirmishers here. And now we're going to see the Dutch Culverins try to... they got some of the horse artillery. Can they get another batsman? Oh no, those Culverins shot at the Dragoon instead. Missed opportunity. Now, are they going to be able to... Well, we still see more horse artillery from the French, so are they going to be able to blast their way through these infantry here? Did they get, Yep, they got Grivabile system, which adds additional stats to all artillery units, which is going to make these horse arty even better against the Dutch skirmishers. Now, are these riders going to be enough to kill those cannons? Because the cannons are the biggest threat right now. It's not the Dragoons, it's not the skirms. You gotta get rid of those artillery, especially those mortars. Mortars, if they get too close to those banks, they blow them up, you're done. You're done as Dutch, because your coin eco's going to go tanking. And you're not going to have enough resources by the set of, I would say, probably 3-4 minutes. You'll be completely toast. One thing you have to make sure you're always doing too, is you see Tushki doing really well here, is always training villagers. Yeah. One of the things you gotta focus on building right away in Deathmatch is getting your 2 additional town centers up. And keep them queued up with villagers all the time, because that 20k starring resources does not last and you need to make it up somehow. Best way is villagers. If you're Dutch, that would be banks. If you can get your factories up sooner, that's great. That's why you see Tushki with his factories already sent. You know, you can really use those coin trickles here to do that. These mortars still alive though. They're still alive and they're still pressing in. So what now? What are these mortars gonna do? Oh, so are they gonna try melee these mortars? No, they're gonna focus fire it though. They're gonna try a focus fire. Now we see the longbowmen trying to press their way in here. Do these longbowmen have the siege archery yet? No, they don't. Probably want to get that now, since you're up against their walls now, and you could really use that siege archery. Yep, he was listening to me. Here comes the siege archery. You need that to blast apart those walls, start attacking their forward buildings. Oh, but now the Dutch have shipped their heavy cannons. One of them's idled in limber mode, though. That's not good. Especially when they've landed right on top of where the hussars are crawling in. Oh, jeez. That's really unfortunate for you, Don. Too bad the hussars just happened to be there at that wrong time. Also going to lose those culverins. Pretty big blunderbuss of a situation over there for Don. Can the British make up for it, though? Can they beat their British counterpart here? British defeating British. Can these longbowmen siege their way in here and start... well, here's the problem. Falconets, field guns. These things are not the friends of your longbowmen. They do a lot of damage to them. Lots and lots of damage to them. But luckily they got culverins, though, to help with that, and they are able to slowly rip those falconets apart and let the remaining longbowmen do their work here. It's kind of an interesting situation to see. I feel like at this point, looking at the resources, yeah, it seems like Team Dutch is really not doing too well. Peo is also starving a bit here. So I feel like right now, if you do the math, the Angel of Death and Tushki, a little bit is actually doing great on their resource collection right now. Again, their villagers out. Again, they got some of their basic resource gathering cards too, like refrigeration and royal mint done. How about British? Yeah, the British, same thing. They actually got sustainable agriculture as well, so they're doing really well, keeping up those resources. Yeah, this is perfect, actually. This is really perfect. Really is excellent. Yep, this is... Oh, wait. GG? Already over? That was only 8 minutes, man. Wow. Talk about a good fight. I mean, what brought that on? Like, wow, like, oh, now I understand it. Now I understand it. It's like, wow, look at that. Look at how powerful that was. Whew. Yeah, I mean that was some good assaulting right there between Angel of Death and the Tushki French. They both managed to siege their way into their respective opponents, with Tushki clinging in a little bit closer for comfort. You know, you can see how close they are to the factory over here. That was going to turn really, really nasty real quickly for them if they didn't resign, because the Moors were still active. Yeah, definitely. Post game, let's see. Oh yeah, you can. Well, I mean, this was really early in the match, so of course the resources are gonna look pretty similar. You can see Peo though pretty low. You know, missing like 3k resources. Maybe that had something to do with it. But here's the real big kicker here. Look at Tushki's kill count. Really large. 352. As a result of good skirmisher and dragoon management, as well as attacking the right places if hussars and cannons is needed. Yeah, really good management. Even Angel of Death was doing really well thanks to the longbow spamming, you know. Really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. So yeah, this was a really good match. A nice quick one. It just goes to show you, you don't always have to go for like the long game. Sometimes if you really got your attack plan together, you can kill somebody in 10 minutes or less. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this one. It's a lot quicker than the other casted games I did recently. But I feel like every game there's something to learn, and so hopefully you learned something from this one. See you on the next one. Sign off now.